Once upon a time, in a land of ledgers and numbers, lived an accountant named Alice. She worked at a large firm where her days were filled with calculations and reports. One day, while reviewing a client's account, Alice noticed a discrepancy. Digging deeper, she found a grave error that had gone unnoticed for months. The mistake was a double-entry mistake, caused by a junior accountant named Bob. He had mistakenly entered the same transaction twice, causing an overstatement of the company's profits. The mistake cost the company thousands of dollars. Alice knew she had to fix the problem, but her boss, the White Rabbit, was always in a hurry and never had time to listen. So, she decided to go to the source. She followed the money trail, chasing it down rabbit holes and through twisted labyrinths of data. As she delved deeper, Alice found herself in a strange and fantastical world. She encountered talking creatures, like the Cheshire Cat, who grinned and offered cryptic advice, and the Hatter, who ranted about the absurdity of deadlines. Despite the distractions, Alice persisted in her quest. She pieced together the puzzle, discovering that the error was the result of a mad tea party, where accounting standards were tossed out the window. Bob was new to the company and unaware of the company's strict accounting policies. With the truth in hand, Alice returned to her boss and presented her findings. The White Rabbit was shocked and ashamed, but grateful for Alice's hard work. He promised to implement stricter controls and to listen more closely in the future. Bob was let go, and Alice's bravery and determination had saved the company from ruin, and she was hailed as a hero. But, as it turns out, the grave accounting error was not buried forever. The Cheshire Cat, who had always been known for his love of mischief, had kept a copy of the original error. One day, while Alice was working on a new client's account, the cat appeared, still grinning as ever. He handed her the copy of the error and told her that he had found it while digging through the company's archives. He said he had kept it as a reminder of the good old days when things were more interesting. Alice was shocked and saddened by this revelation. She knew that this mistake could cost the company and its reputation dearly. She immediately reported it to the White Rabbit, who this time was more attentive and took the matter seriously. The rabbit, using Alice's previous experience, formed a team and they worked together to find out how this error was dug up and who was responsible. After a thorough investigation, they found out that it was the work of a malicious insider who had deliberately dug up the error to cause harm to the company. The individual was fired, and the company's reputation was once again salvaged thanks to the quick action and determination of Alice and her team. From then on, the company had much stricter security measures in place to prevent such occurrences from happening again. Alice learned that the past can come back to haunt you and the importance of being vigilant and always being prepared for anything. And as for the Cheshire Cat, he disappeared as mysteriously as he had appeared, leaving behind only his grin and a reminder to always be on the lookout for potential mischief. Potential mischief they did find, but this time it was even more sinister than a mere copy of an old accounting error. As they dug deeper into the company's financials, they discovered a fraudulent transaction, orchestrated by none other than the White Rabbit himself. He had been embezzling company funds for his own gain, using the funds for personal luxuries and hiding the transactions under false expenses. The discovery sent shockwaves throughout the company and the community. Alice was determined to bring the White Rabbit to justice, but he was cunning and elusive, disappearing down rabbit holes and leaving behind only a trail of deceit. Alice and her team followed the trail, chasing the White Rabbit through a maze of numbers and lies. They encountered strange and fantastical characters, such as the Queen of Hearts, who ranted and raved about the injustice of it all, and the Jabberwock, who threatened to devour anyone who dared to cross him. Despite the obstacles, Alice and her team persevered, gathering evidence and piecing together the puzzle. They finally caught up to the White Rabbit and presented their findings to the authorities. The White Rabbit was arrested and charged with embezzlement. The company was able to recoup the stolen funds and restore its reputation, all thanks to Alice's determination and bravery. From then on, the company implemented stricter financial controls and background checks for new hires to prevent such a thing from happening again. Alice was once again hailed as a hero, and her reputation as the accountant adventurer was solidified. And as for the White Rabbit, he was banished to a prison of his own making, where he spent the rest of his days counting the days and the cost of his own mischief. The cost of which was staggering, not only in terms of the monetary losses suffered by the company, but also in terms of the damage to its reputation. The White Rabbit's fraudulent transactions had resulted in a material misstatement of the company's financials, and the company had to restate its financial reports for several previous periods. This resulted in a significant loss of trust from investors, customers, and partners, as well as increased scrutiny from regulatory bodies. The company had to incur additional costs for forensic accounting, legal fees, and PR efforts to restore its reputation. The cost of the White Rabbit's actions was multifold and had a long-term impact on the company's financial performance and integrity. Here are some words from the story. Double entry mistake, a mistake in the accounting process where the same transaction is recorded twice, resulting in an incorrect financial statement. Fraudulent transaction, a transaction that is illegal or dishonest and is intended to deceive others in order to gain an unjust or illegal advantage. Embezzlement, the act of fraudulently misusing or misappropriating funds that have been entrusted to one's care. Material misstatement, a false or misleading statement in a financial report that would be considered significant enough to affect a user's decisions about the company. Restate financial reports, the process of correcting errors in previously issued financial statements, which can be done by amending the original statement or issuing a new one. Forensic accounting, the use of accounting, auditing, and investigative skills to conduct an investigation into financial fraud or mismanagement. Regulatory bodies, organizations that have the authority to create and enforce laws, rules, and regulations for a specific industry or sector. Ledgers, a record or book that contains financial information, such as accounts payable and accounts receivable. Discrepancy, a difference or inconsistency between figures or records. Labyrinth, a complex structure of interconnected passages through which it is difficult to find one's way. Cryptic, having a meaning that is mysterious or difficult to understand. Ranted, speak or shout at length in an angry, impassioned way. Delved, to make an investigation or inquiry, often in a deep or thorough way. Persisted, to continue to do something despite difficulties or obstacles.